suspicion that maybe the elephants that had come past the other day had found it and eaten it. But here it is, and it just started getting a bit rotten at the bottom. So this is the one that we were watching growing on this tree for a long time, throughout most of the summer so far, since it was flowering and since it started growing. They do get a lot bigger than this. I'm going to put it there while I chat to you. Doesn't make my left. There we go. Length, and then of course will be several times that weight. This one weighs probably around 2 or 3 pounds. It's about, actually more. Let's see, this weighs about 2 or 3 kilos, so that's probably about 6 pounds. Quite heavy. Now, I don't know, I'm a bit reluctant to cut it open. I was going to cut it open for you and show you the inside, excuse me, but I'll wait for another one to drop. I'll come and look for another one maybe. There are still 1 or 2 hanging. Very long grass, as you could see when I was walking there. It's very difficult to find. It was actually underneath a buffalo thorn. I've got lots of thorns in my arm. I'm bleeding. Ooh, the blood is in it. I'll keep it and see what I'm gonna do with it. See of a sausage. Let's see where we're gonna go. Where shall we go? Vulture's Nest or Nyala Road South onto Central Road, Gary Cut Line, somewhere around there. Sorry, Clara, I didn't hear a word. There were evidently some elephant around, just up on them, try and find where they are. Right, so from slightly different vantage point, we have a huge storm brewing. That's not brewing actually raining. And brewing and bubbling is the one down in the south now, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this one in the south because that can come across any minute. Thunder is starting to get a lot louder. Very hot and humid at the moment, even though it is overcast and we don't have sunshine. It's almost coastal oppression, this humidity. It's sort of coastal, very dense humidity. Must be way up, like 85-90% maybe. Well, weather permitting, late 6:30, and from about 7 this evening we're going to be frogging. We're going to be looking at things in Telepan. There should be some good life in there. Now I was going to tell news, past tense news, history. Remember those cheetah we were watching the other day? And they made a kill and we watched them eating a baby impala. And then at the end of the drive, we were watching the vultures come in. And they were facing the cheetah that crossed Kuetela access road. It looked like they were settling down in the looking at the camera to say goodbye to you all. And while I was saying goodbye to everybody, Catherine panned the camera back to the cheetah at a moment when one of the cheetah bent down and picked up another kill. And I didn't even know that. Catherine didn't say anything. And it was only today, we've been reviewing the footage and editing it, that Sebastian picked it up and he said, they made 2 kills. I said, no, nonsense. And it took quite a bit of convincing, but I have to agree with him. It's irrefutable. I didn't see it at the time. I don't know if anybody else saw it. But when we were sitting with the cheetah and those vultures were coming in and we were watching, and the other cheetah came back to, well, they both met up again underneath that worry bush. Well, it was there that it happened. Someone was asking what day the cheetah sighting was on. It was my last morning drive, which would have been yesterday morning, wasn't it? I can't remember. Gee. Hello, lilac-crested roller. It was about 4 days ago, the 20th of January. Hoping to get the lilac-crested roller, but he flew away. 21-21-1 or 1-20-21-1 if you have your date with the month first. We put out date first. Oh, there's a buffalo hiding behind some grasses. There's another one down Twin Dams Road, but there's one he's coming this way too. So there's one buffalo in the water at Chelapan. Oh, maybe we can't come and catch frogs at night. Oh, we know this boy. He's got that very, very deep curl to his horns. 2 buffalo. See, these grasses are so long that a buffalo can hide away. 800-900 kilograms of animal can just hide in the grasses. That's the kind of place you want to come walking to. Even more than that, 3 buffalo hiding in the grasses, invisible from the road. Getting his face in the water and water up his nose. I guess it's the lesser of 2 evils. Water up your nose is better than flies up your nose. Flies are bugging them. I wouldn't stay in the water too long, Buff. Raining soon, you're going to get wet. Look at that. It's his nose right in the water. Here comes the other boy we saw earlier, making his way through the bushes. Interesting the way the other buffalo got up and made a start towards him. Guess he didn't see him. See the... I'm leaving. This other young bull also deciding to leave. They're going to touch noses. Just... That is interesting behavior. Must be a hierarchy thing. No, we're not part of the hierarchy. Don't come this way. Good afternoon, Squire. Afternoon, Mr. Buffalo. Oh, he's very relaxed. And here comes the rain wind. A sudden gust of wind that's just breathing in now, coming from the column of rain that is falling to the south. I think in this go away a little bit west. We'll go towards Treehouse Dam, I think. Last thing we need is to get caught too far from camp if this breaks. Well, the thing is, it has broken and it is already raining to the south, so it's just a matter of how fast it's moving in. So let's leave these buffalo, see if we can find something else in the interim until the rain comes down. Buffalo. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to go south. So let's go west. Hello, Laurie. Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia in Atlanta, or Atlanta in Georgia. Atlanta. Sorry, that was two impala that they'd killed. It's just at the end of that footage that I was looking at was a very brief visual. The one cheetah bending down and picking up another young impala. There was a moment when we were watching the vultures and the cheetah ran off, and I said, oh, they're going after other impala again. And I really didn't think that they had gone hard and fast enough to have successfully killed one, but obviously it had. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the youngster again that made the kill. Of course, I'm kicking myself for having missed that. Twice actually, because I went back there later in the afternoon. Tara was driving. I went back there just to see if they were still around, just before Tara went out, and couldn't find them. Had a look under that tree and I didn't see any sign of anything. And the vultures didn't even bother at that tree. Yeah, I believe there was Nkonzo and Gary Katline heading north. Okay, copy. Oh, got a spider. Got a jumping spider on my steering wheel, one of my favorite spiders. Come on, we want to see you, child. Missing a leg. Reminds me of another story I must tell you. Okay, let's see if I can encourage this child to move, because I can't steer the vehicle with him on. Not good being on the floor either. There. Maybe you'll see it crawling around my hat at some stage. Used to be an advert long time ago. The B, ends with a W, middle letters an M. Not allowed to do advertising, but Android. Easy and how smooth the steering is for that particular make of car, that a mouse could run along the steering wheel, and you know, like a mouse's running wheel. Better, it has a spider. But yes, I was going to tell you a story about a jumping spider. A story that I can back up with film and photographs. That I will do soon, tonight, tomorrow. Keep an eye on these rhino tracks. I don't know if you remember when I did my last Remarkable Creatures show, I showed that was growing on my baobab. It was a pinprick of a spider. It actually looked nothing like the adult golden orb. Oh, there's rain coming soon. I'm not too sure if I showed you an updated photograph of her. A few days later I was taking some updated photographs of her. Took some nice ones. And then the next, I tend to put them on my little baobab, my little bonsai baobab tree. And I put this jumping spider in all innocence on the baobab. Proceeded to take several hundred photographs of it, and it found that a striplet, he started climbing along the silk. And when he started getting close and eyeing out my golden orb, I thought, no, going the wrong way there, boy. So I encouraged him back to the leaves and back to the main trunk of the tree and let him move on. Went back to do some work in FC, and about an hour later I went back to see how things were progressing, and he was back on the web. And I watched him kill and eat my golden orb spider, and I got it all on film. Yes. Sorry, I can't help it. I was wondering why the seat wouldn't go back any further, because that's all caught up with the spotlight and things. Oh. I'm just trying to get the spotlight out. It was all caught up underneath the seat. future amber. This one. This one.
Yes, that one.
Right, hook those thorns out of the way. There you go. A lot of products that you might find on the supermarket shelves, if you look at ingredients, you're going to find something called gum acacia, or even gum arabica. I mean, this is gum acacia. But I don't think this is the particular species that is used. All of the acacias do have gum that protects the tree from invasive insects, one of which I'm looking at right now, a beautiful longhorn beetle, and I just have to see if I can photograph it. It wasn't invented because nature's been around nature for millions of years, but I'll just put it this way, that children in Africa have been chewing gum from acacia trees for probably hundreds if not thousands of years. No, Chappie's a South African. Chiclets was the first chewing gum manufacturer.
Okay.
We used to get chiclets in South Africa. This is pretty hard. This is pretty solid. It's dried. One other very important thing about the gum is in the dry wintry months, the dry season, when insects are few and far between, the lesser bush baby, the little lesser galago, not a very colorful longhorn beetle. On this tree because it is probably finding a mate and they will lay eggs. Let me see if I can just try and encourage it. It's a very clever beetle because it is not rolling back. I'm going to have to start up. Only you're not going to get the same picture. And I want to put this, tell me when you're there, that I can put this longhorn on that gum and can climb up the gum and get back into the tree. I want to tell everybody about this longhorn beetle. These are one of the oldest living, or longest living of the insects. You got it? Very difficult to film in these conditions, but that was a longhorn beetle, and they will lay eggs on some of the softer, fresher branches as it is growing, and the larva will bore in. They will emerge as adults. 7 can live within the wood of a tree. No, I'm afraid I can't chew it. Some of the gums, unless I know what it is, I can't. Because one of the substances that I can't have is gum arabica. There are some things that conflict with my medicine, so I can't chew a gum that I'm not sure what it is. But this is hard. You need soft gum. This is too hard. We need the gum that is coming out soft. That is already crystallized. It's no good chewing crystallized gum. I will if I find an acacia that I know which acacia it is. I forgot. I don't know which. That could be a robusta. I'm not too sure what that acacia is. Now some of the longhorn beetles are exquisite. Metallic blues and greens, yellows, reds, fantastic colors. Some colors that are iridescent and impossible to reproduce on canvas. In fact, even them doesn't quite feel how beautiful the colors really are. But such is nature. Us humans always want to try and reproduce things, and one of the other things that we can't reproduce. Oh, there's some white-faced ducks here. I think it's one of the dams I haven't come to since this heavy rain, and looking at the spillway, it is flowing across the spillway. A pair of white-faced ducks entering the water. They sometimes occur in groups. We've been seeing a solitary duck at twin dams. But yeah, all these dams are overflowing. Like a place to come rolling with the grass in the water. And there's a hippo. These are also known as tree ducks or whistling ducks. They don't quack, they whistle. White-faced whistling ducks. Can't quite do it, it's very high-pitched. As far as my spider is concerned, I just readjusted my hat. Suddenly realized the spider's not there. I don't think. Huh? It probably flew away. And if you're wondering how a spider can fly without wings, I will tell you. Once again, something that us humans thought we invented, called ballooning. Now they don't exactly have a big cloth balloon that they fill with warm air, but what they do have is very, very fine silk that is lighter than air, especially in this warm weather. Silk is lifted by the wind, and the spider keeps sending out a strand until it becomes lighter than the spider. And it lifts the spider off, blows it along in the wind until it catches on something, and then the spider reels itself in and Well, these are not web spinning spiders, the jumping spiders, but then he would have carried on doing what he had to do. A vulture up there, coming from somewhere with the drongo after it. Another beautiful big storm cloud brewing in the west. Let's just check Gary Cutline quickly. Not Gary Cutline, Gary Main. What am I saying? We'll make our way to Gary Cutline eventually. Our lion has been found. There might be some of you who maybe missed out on our lion sightings during the week, not being able to watch while you're at work. So we'll see if we can get to those lions. They're still on buffels of Cutline. We've been really gifted with them being around for a few days. Hello boys. Impala rams. Thank you, Penny. Penny just saying that Kruger Park has recorded the heaviest rainfall since Cyclone Des Moines in 1984, I think it was. It was an interesting year for me. I had my own cyclones going on in my head and my life. 1984. George Orwell had some cyclones going on in his head when he wrote the book 1984. Okay, bye boys. We're losing 4 Impala as they leave our part of the world. Well, these are heavy rains that I've seen in, well, since the late 80s in the Sabi Sand. 1980, 7 years ago. Gosh. I was just a baby. I was 3 years old. Not. I can be however old I want to be. Hello Vivian. Glad I could clear up that mystery for you. But yes, that is one of the main, well, the only way that spiders can manage to spin their webs from one tree to another, or when you see a spider web and you think, how on earth did it climb down and then climb up there, and then, yeah, but it doesn't. It just sends a strand of silk. If the spider's not going to fly with the silk, it'll just sit on the end of a branch and send out a strand, an exploratory strand. Will then run along that horizontal strand, laying down a much stronger strand, one of the main strands. It's a very strong type of silk. And then she'll come back to the middle and drop down to take a vertical line down to something, and that will form a Y, and that Y then becomes the basis for the web. I just want to show you there's a nest in this tree, in this acacia. It looks like a little waxbill's nest, one of the blue waxbills. A very tiny little ball of grass. Let's see if it helps just using our light today. Well, well, let's put it this way. They are kind of related. They're not that far removed. But this isn't as neat as a weaver's nest. But what is typical of this waxbill's nest is the grass head that it uses. And it'll use those grass heads as well, of the panicum or some of the Eragrostis, as a gift for a little dance, trying to entice her to accept it. And it's when she accepts it that he'll go off and they will make, or rather raise, baby waxbills. Little blue finch type birds, also known as a cordon bleu, blue ribbon in French.
You're going to have to put it further away, as far as you possibly can on the dashboard.
No, they're very small, but I wanted to show you something very interesting. These are grass seeds. You can see the wind blowing. Wait until we get focus and then I'll tell you about it. Corn and rice, all modified grasses. Genetically modified, genetically altered, or genetically bred. Using Darwin's theories to grow this. Focus. Can you all see that? I hope you can. Because what I want to show you is, well, you can see the seed. I forget what it's called. It's not the arrow. I forget what it's called. But now I'm going to wet one of those little hairy pieces on the grass. There is one that is moving, but I want to show you how this one moves. I hope you're going to be able to see that. I hope you can see it twisting. It's not the wind that's blowing it. I've wet it with my saliva. Now what happens is when the rains come, the rain starts untwisting that little hair. And that does a couple of things. It helps dislodge the grass from the seed head, but it also supposedly helps the grass drill into the ground or get the bottom part of the grass. If I can do it with this one blowing in the wind. This is not the greatest species of grass to do it with. There's another species that does it better, the spear grass. It's not twisting the seed around. I don't know if that's coming across very well. I hope it is. Things. With another cam. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try and outrun the storm and stay places where the storm isn't. Looks like I might be moving over camp pretty soon. And we might be lucky enough to be out of it here in the southwestern part of the world. See if you've been paying attention. We've got water in the road. Is there any particular tree that you think will associate with the water in the road? If anyone can tell me. We have them all the way along the side of the road here because we're on the edge of a seep line that we call an ecotone. I was telling you about it the other day. We might be lucky, might not get any of this rain. That one looks like it might still be moving more to the north. Up Dams Road again, across the dam and see if we can see these lions or something similar. Hello, Lynn. Lynn in Canada saying the silver cluster leaf. Thank you, Lynn. What was the point? Hello, Kathy, in West Virginia. How are those country roads doing? The Blue Ridge Mountains. Refer to Impala. rams, and they're in a group, either as a bachelor group or a bachelor herd. Kathy wants to know, when does the group become a herd? Between the two, it's just terminology. I think you'll find me one day using bachelor group and another day using bachelor herd. I don't think there isn't really any difference between the two. I want to show you something else now. I'm not too sure whether it's edible. I know that this has been eaten by something. Or maybe more palatable, more edible. Some of them can be poisonous. Now the cucurbitae, which is the family of plants that they come from, a lot of them can be toxic, some of them can be poisonous. Which ones you can't. And I don't know about this one. These are more hairy than spiny. They're sort of fleshy spines, not very sharp. I mean, I can hold it in my hand without anything wrong. Something's been chewing on it already. If I open it up, you will see the seeds look exactly like a cucumber in your kitchen, and that is because this cucumber family smells just like a cucumber, looks like a cucumber, smells like. But yes, something's been eating this cucumber. And now that I've opened it up, something will eat it some more. Or some more of it. I forgot, I've been to so many countries with so many different species, and I can't eat all the different species. There's a column of rain coming down in the distance. Stop and see if we can pick that up. In fact, if I go forward, if we get further sort of parallel with that, or level with that marula tree, then we should be able to see it better. The tree is hiding most of that rain. That would be over Buffelshoek. Texan, come in. Oh, sorry, radio's a bit squirrel. What you got up there on pipeline?
There's a dog inside the creek, and also that's my brother and my cousin bought on the pipeline. The smaller part of the western side of the private pipeline.
Okay, copy, thanks. And have you got Mvula there? Alright, thanks, Uncle. Okay, still raining a little bit further north of Buffelshoek, so that particular storm is out of our immediate danger, or we're out of the danger from that. It's more this one that's rumbling above us that I'm worried about. Alright, let's go to go to Gari Dam, cross over and get to Gari Cut Line. Hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. Sunday morning for some, Sunday afternoon for others, maybe even Sunday night for a few. Get much of that in the dip. Sorry, Dove. Little Dove. Shenandoah. Okay, sorry, I'm not getting that, Tara. Kathy saying that the writer of this John Denver's song should have got more familiar with West Virginia before they wrote Country Roads. Evidently some things that are not factual in the song. Right, now we're making our way down on Wahlberg's Nest down towards Twin Dams Road, giving us another view of the horizon and what is brewing on it. And it looks like more east than south. A very big storm. Elephant tracks. Not very fresh. No, Melva sent in them an email, not too sure, didn't get most of that, but Melva, I was referring the other day to Malva pudding, which is M-A-L-V-A.
We need to go and look it up.
Oh, Malva, you're welcome. Learning something new about them. Hopefully you can be able to make a Malva pudding. One of my favorite puddings. I know my brother does an awesome one. Malva actually is, it could have something to do with mallow, because I know the Malvasia, the flower in the floral kingdom, the Malva family, also known as the mallow family. Marshmallow. But yes, I think that's maybe where the Malva pudding comes from, because it's like puffy, like a mallow, like the marshmallow. But it's, I don't know, I'm guessing now. But you could look up Malvasia. You might want to look up Malvasia, M-A-L-V-A-C-A-E. No, C-E-A-E. M-A-L-V-A-C-E-A-E. Malvasia. Those are the hibiscus and the cotton and related families of plants. Sorry, what was that? We've got a camera following us. Thought I could beat the camera. The time we saw a leopard on this damn wall or below it. It's really getting dark now. Well, the Egyptian goose has just left the damn wall and she's making her way onto the water with her youngsters. Bunch of impala in front of the lodge. Quite peaceful here. Yeah, raindrops are starting. Not to drop. I mean, spillway. Why do I keep mixing up the two? Slipway is where you launch yachts and boats. Spillway is the overflow of a dam. unfortunately, where we want to go to these lions is like straight into the eye of the storm. So, and it's starting to drizzle here. It's this thing right above us. I'm going to have to go back to the other side of the dam, I'm afraid. I have to go back to the west. Lovely blue sky in the southwest. I'm just going to stop and have a look at which way this cloud is moving, because this is the big cloud that's causing the trouble at the moment. It's not moving, it's hanging. It's like this giant spaceship hovering and growing. Okay, we're going to go up to the open area towards Zoe's Road. It might be a little drier there, but unfortunately we can't go this way. There's I wish I could make up my mind, but that is moving this way. Toe prints there that could have been leopard, but they were a little bit old and indistinct. Hello, Ellen. Oh. The gander just flew in over our heads. Hello, Ellen in Illinois. Decatur. Rush College School. I suppose no school today. Ellen wanting to know about our crocodile. I haven't been back to sea because I was trying to go south, but we had rain in the south, so I'm trying to stay out and stay ahead of the rain and stay in places where there isn't any rain. So I'm hoping tomorrow morning we can go and have a look at these twin dams on our southern boundary, almost in the center of our area, where we had a view of that crocodile. Ellen was also wanting to know whether they make their way across land to different water bodies. Well, they can, but they're more likely to use these drainage lines like the Mulwati, which is flowing at the moment. It's a much safer option for a crocodile. I have seen crocodiles moving across land to get from one body of water to another, but I've also seen them moving up these dry riverbeds when they're not dry anymore after heavy rains. Another reason that they'll move up these dry riverbeds is because catfish migrate upstream up these riverbeds to get to new water, and they make an easy meal for these crocs because it's very, very shallow water. Catfish are able to survive, they're able to absorb oxygen, so they're not that dependent on water. They are for moisture and stuff. But the catfish will make their way upstream. Even if the water is not deep enough to swim, they will still manage to wriggle upstream. And that does make it easy for things like eagles, cats, crocodiles, storks to catch these catfish. A waterbuck. Have I got? Yes, I do.
I do, I do. That was a song too. I do, I do, I do. I think. I don't remember who that was by. Aging me a little bit. Oh, well, I have to show you this. There's a water buck and a couple of water buck coming through. For, who is it? I think it's Tammy. Who's the terrapin queen of wild earth? That is a hatchling, everybody. We see them basking in the sun on the logs, on the Stichosaurus, on the hippos, on the banks of Gari Dam. And this is a hatchling, one of the little terrapins. Are you a hinged terrapin? May I have a look, little child? No, you're not a hinged terrapin. So this is the Cape or the pan terrapin. And as young as it is already smelly. Now, fortunately, when the vehicles go through these puddles of water, the wheels push the water aside, and it actually pushes the terrapins aside. I haven't yet, in all my life, all my life of driving through puddles of terrapins, I've never seen a terrapin get caught under a tire. They get pushed ahead of the wheel as it goes through the mud. But I do take note of the puddles when I get past, when I'm driving towards them, to see if there are little heads sticking out, to see if there's any mud moving. I'm now full of mud. There you go. The water buck must wonder what I'm doing. There's that crazy human with the hat again, they say. The buckets. I don't know where the water buck is, but here are his buckets. One of them. There's another one coming up the road. She's antisocial. We'll head down the road a little bit, see if we can talk to them. I guess it's Sunday. They're saying, give us a break. It's Sunday today. And there's another one turning around. Third one. Three of them. Three of the ladies. Let's just stop. They'll stop. Stop. Just before they disappear into the bush. Very attractive antelope, the water buck. Pretty faces, long hair that helps with the waterproofing. Keeps them warm when they're wet. I wonder if you can hear that thunder. Sure you can. Oh well. Soon there'll be permanent features on open area near camp. Now we're talking about a hinged terrapin, and you've heard of us talk about the hingeback tortoise. well, above the back legs that allow the back to move down, which assists it during mating, and it assists the female during laying of eggs to get the back curled around. But the terrapin is different because the terrapin has a hinge on its plastron. Now the plastron is the undercarriage, the underneath of a tortoise or a terrapin or a turtle, and it has a hinge, a leathery skin sort of hinge between its front legs, so that front semicircle of plastron can fold up against the carapace, against the shell, when it tucks its head in. And all of our terrapins, in other words, they don't pull the head back in, they just tuck the head in to the side, and they will close that plastron so that they close in their front legs and their head. And that is not only a defense mechanism, but it helps them when they hibernate. Well, we don't have hibernating terrapins. When they're estivating, when they're spending the dry season tucked under the mud somewhere, helps them retain moisture. So yes, tortoises and terrapins with hinges on their shells. It allows for some movement. It's not a solid shell like the leopard tortoise. The leopard tortoise the male has a concave depression on his plastron between his hind legs that helps him to fit over the female during mating. And that's because they have a very round shell or carapace. The hingeback tortoise doesn't have that round, it's more flat on the top. But it's still necessary for him to bend his back a little bit. Now just over this ridge are some wildebeest and impala. We'll have to wait and see if they're going to move further up onto the open area. Can't see them right now. I had a glimpse of them from further back. That way around to the line. We're going to try this way around. So we'll do Gallagher shortcut or Aubrey's Road. We'll see when we get to Buetela Access Road. Go north so that we can then go east towards Mr. and Mrs. Lion. We've ascertained that the evening that you watched them kill the buffalo a few nights ago was the night they started mating. Before that kill. Much later on that night, when I was sitting with them in the moonlight, as storms were rolling in, I could hear them mating in the darkness because I couldn't see them. But I could hear them mating, and that must have, I was sitting with Malusi, and the two of us could hear that commotion. We'll take Gallagher shortcut. seepage in the road, and silver cluster leaf, almost unfailing of its nature, because the silver cluster leaf needs this very, very particular niche in the ecology, niche in the soil. Baboon footprints going back towards Weatella. Interesting, looks like this might be the new road. Knobthorn that was pushed down by an elephant. Looks like they might be leaving it to grow like that, diverting the road around it. I like to see that. But actually, it's not only the knobthorn, there's also this little apple leaf that's growing in the root clump of this knobthorn. It will grow for some time, for many years to come. branches in the road. Could be baboons, but they're all branches from potato bush. I'm only seeing baboon tracks. I'm thinking it's most likely the baboons that are picking the branches. No sign of elephant tracks here. You know, I was thinking it's been a long time since we've had a leopard on a kill in a tree. Part of that might be that the grasses are so long they're able to hide their kill in the grasses. This is a pet line. Looking dry. Dry enough. Dry enough to head east. Find some lion. Still that storm northeast and still that one southeast. That big cloud that was hanging over us is gone. I think we're safe. Just drops in this water. My grass seed is still here, hasn't even blown up. Pardon? Yeah, I'll have grass growing out of the dashboard. Gonna drill in. station Wangala? Hi there, Andrew. Tamboti Dam on the left, Mbubu Road on the right, lion tracks underfoot. Where are you, pussycat? Meow. Anybody watch Simon's Cat, the cartoon? Meow. It's become my favorite cartoon after Garfield. Where we were watching the mate the other day. The buffalo kill was just off to our right on the fire break, a few yards in, or probably about 50 yards in, 40 yards. Fire break is only about 40 yards wide. We're just gonna move slowly. They were on the road, evidently. Herd of elephants on Buffalo's. Good, they'll be here tomorrow. I hope. I'm curious as to where the rest of the herd, I mean the pride has gone. Herd of lions, yes, Mark. Great terminology. I wonder where the rest of the, last time we saw the pride they were just here on our left. They came out onto the road after we left the sighting. It was myself and Seb 2 nights ago. Buffalo tracks running across the road over here. There's been buffalo here. In the road up ahead. I can smell them now. The lioness, there's our young man, turning to look his head my way. Good afternoon. Is that good enough? Yeah. Welcome to Africa, everybody. A lazy Sunday afternoon in Africa where even the cats sleep. But for cats, every day is a Sunday. So how many days ago, here's a question to my viewers, how many days ago did they make their buffalo kill? It would have been 3, because Tara was driving in the evening yesterday, and me, so it would have been 3 nights ago, so this is the 4th day, if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd day. Very hard for us to keep track of time in the bush. But the other morning on Mbubu Road, I was saying that it looks like she was losing interest. She was getting a little bit irritable with him. She was snapping at him when he tried to cover her, and I was thinking that maybe it was coming to the end of their mating session, their mating period. And obviously I was wrong. And the fact that they're still lying together means that they probably are still busy. He's still busy. Joanne was saying on the 20th of the 1st. It doesn't really help me because I don't know what day it is today. 23rd today. Okay. 3 days. That was... Okay. It's all about observing and learning. So on average that's 2 to 3 days, but I've seen lions mating for up to 5-6 days up in Salou. Hard to keep track of time when you don't have when you work your 5-day week, 5 or 6 day week, and you have a break on a weekend. Just have every day the same. So yes, this would be the 3rd day that these lions are mating, the 3rd night. And as long as they stick around, we'll be able to observe. Hello, Ellen. No, I didn't think you had school today. And Ellen wanting to know how long after this mating session will the cubs be born? And will they stay together till then? Ellen, gestation is about 100 days. Just over 3 months. And I can't tell you whether they'll stay together, because in some prides they do, in some prides they don't. We've known these Kojima males to be separate from the Kahumas. Who knows? Could be that now they're staying with them. The pride, you see, it's not really... Sorry, Mr. Lion, I woke you up. I must talk softer. I can't really answer that question because it's a yes or no answer. There are going to be times that they'll be together and there'll be times that they're not together. What will happen? Whether these males are going to stay with the females or rather stay within close contact with the Kahumas and become a proper pride, or whether they're going to go back to their nomadic ways. I think there's a strong possibility they would. Now that they've sired the other 2 cubs that we see, I don't know where Snaggletooth is with her youngsters. But an answer is not really easy. Also, different lion behave differently, and then again, even the same lion will do different things. So that there's nothing that is so root. At the time of birth, the female will be separate from. She'll leave the group and she'll go off and have her cubs apart from the group, and she'll bring them into the pride after a few weeks. Of being under, if you could call it, there are constantly periods when they're with the males and periods that it's more when the cubs are being weaned. They would spend more time away from the males, maybe. And one of the reasons for that is because the males dominated the kills. This has happened in different places, where I've found lionesses will make a kill and they'll let the male or male come in and dominate. And they'll try their best to avoid the males. I've seen a male lion that on one kill but there's nothing that is you can't, because they will, well, they're not guided by instinct of set rules. Oh, he's hugging himself. Yeah, that's quite cute. Okay, didn't like me calling him cute. Gosh, Laurie, that's quite a question. Laurie is asking, why do lions stay in a group? And wouldn't it be more feasible for leopard and cheetah to stay in a group? Gosh. Habitat that they prefer. Cheetah do sometimes hunt in groups, family groups. You might find young males that when they leave their mother, you get a band of brothers like we've had come through here. They'll stay together and hunt together, sometimes even help each other in the hunt. Leopard, on the other hand, leopard live in thick bush. They tend to like thick. They're just a solitary cat. They're not the. Gosh, I wish I could figure a way of answering this for you. I could just say it's just because. Like many other animals that live in a denser environment, need to live a more solitary life because it is impractical to live in a group in denser habitats. That is why things like bushbuck and black rhino and bush pigs and leopards and I'm trying to think of something else that live in denser wooded areas, why they're more solitary than the animals that live out in the open that are more social, because they can afford to be more social in a more open environment. Cheetah kind of in between, because they live in they'll stay in their family group and they do associate with each other into adulthood. Another reason is perhaps, nature has to divide things up. Otherwise, competition with methods and different lifestyles. Because they're hunting the same prey species, they're starting to get rain. It's only when animals live in such different niches that they don't need to vary that much. And animals that have managed to find themselves a niche that is so unique that they cannot be ousted out of that niche by any other animal, because they've evolved with that niche, with that life. Example, or that if one was to, well, they're so linked. When it comes to predators, they're all hunting the same animals. So if they were all to live the same way and live in too difficult for the environment to cope with it. And one of the things that nature has done is divided up different habitats and different amount of pressure on the prey species, but it limits the amount of competition amongst the species. In other got to mix it up a little bit. Can't have too many things doing the same thing, living the same way, because the competition would be too fierce. Other species have to find a different niche to occupy to be able to make a living and to be able to survive. That's another thing. Yeah, Tara just reminding me that one of the other things with lion, it opened up a whole different niche for them, in that it allowed them to hunt a larger prey species. Being a large, you see, even if you had, well, no, I don't know. I mean, like you look at wild dog, being as social as they are, they're also able to hunt larger species because they live in a pack. I don't know. That really goes for it, because if leopard were to live together, they'd also be able to hunt larger prey species. So I don't know. Okay, we gotta go. It's raining, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, the rain's coming down. There's much all that clouds moving across the sky, so there's actually something moving in very fast. I'm sorry to tell you folks, we're going to have to switch off and play it by ear as far as the rest of the day is concerned, whether we're going to go frogging this evening or not. Thus far, and thanks for the questions, and thanks for the input. My name is Mark. Herman's been back on camera, and these are our honeymoon lion that we're going to say goodbye to. We'll come here first thing in the morning. Bye everybody.